Hello, hello. Hope everyone's having a great day. And to take a line from a good friend of mine, I hope you're having a great day wherever you are. And today we're going to talk a little bit about controlling your finances. This presentation, I'll be a little bit more straightforward and talk to you guys directly like this because we don't have an audience today. But you guys get to be here with me, and I appreciate you guys choosing to be here with me today and giving me a little bit of your time. I think this will be a presentation that it'll be succinct and it'll be specific. Specific, and we'll get to the point of how to participate in a couple of different things because that was the theme of our last presentation. But today you'll get to you get to think about some of these concepts with a little bit more of a hands-on attitude because these are things that you can directly control. You can do them now, just like in the last presentation. You can in the kind of components that you can participate in. And we'll give it just about 60 more seconds here. Let's see if anybody shows up. But again, I appreciate you guys showing up here today and choosing to check out the video. There'll be a quick point just later on, just to give you a heads up where you can pause, get your thoughts together. Get your thoughts together, and maybe research a few things online. And again, feel free to pause whenever you need to. You can even speed up the video in YouTube. So again, feel free to use this content at your pace. This is your space as well. And so again, today's theme will be talking about controlling your finances, and it looks like it'll just be us today too. So thank you guys again. I'll just mention real quick, there's my link tree if anyone's interested in kind of being a little bit more in contact with me. I know that we have a lot of good connections online with a lot of my peers, a lot of my past coworkers, and I appreciate everyone's support. But again, if you're new here, or if you'd like to connect, on a professional level or even a personal level, maybe you see that we have some things in common, feel free to reach out to me. All right. So you may recognize this picture if you guys, there are any, there are any gamers watching this video. But I love the example that I'll paint because the first point I want to touch on is why. And the question is specifically, why is controlling your finance important? First off, you have immediate access to it. Number one, it's hands-on. You can spend it, you can save it, you can gift it, you can donate it, you can find ways to invest it, whatever suits your comfort level. Next is everyday expenditures and emergency purchases. And we're talking about like natural disasters, things that happen, in automobile accidents, just everyday situations that we all run into because we're human. Participation, because again, participating in different aspects of the financial world can, be an educational moment. It can be a financial growth moment. Or we can even, have some setbacks, but have learned from those in the process as well. So think about that in terms of why. You're thinking about not being you're thinking about not risking your financial assets as much as you have in the past. So again, just kind of think about your comfort level in terms of your participate, how much you participate, and that brings us to our next point: is trust, because trust is something you build over time. Participating in these things, and perhaps, and this is a bit of a point of contention because it is built upon a little bit of like tough love, but learning from your failures in terms of making financially inaccurate decisions, or just plain and simple, bad financial decisions, whether it be as simple as a piece of consumer technology you don't need. Like I said, I'm a gamer and I love games, but I'm aware of the prices of certain things, and I make sure to stay away from things until they're at a discount level. We'll talk about looking for discounts in the future as well if you guys are interested in lots of different aspects of the world. Um, and this picture comes from a story in the game where the character on the left is a needed connection. You need to make a connection with this character in the game, but the criteria to build that connection is for us to reestablish a connection with his partner in that picture, which is the girl on the right. And again, we had to go to great lengths, in this story, and it was a fiction again. But again, these are the kind of things where perhaps we have to go to great lengths to build trust, to participate, and what have you, to gain some insight into the financial world and our own risk tolerance. Um, it's a touching story. If you guys want to look into it, I put the source there. But again, we there are those little stories that are going to be different across all our different timelines. But to have a bit of insight into how that exchange takes place, even if it's through a piece of fiction, it is quite helpful. It's a very good way to have an example to show. All right. Just making sure everything's still good. Excellent. And this is our next slide. This brings us to the how. So how can we control our finance? Storing funds in an easy to access location. And these are just a few examples. And all of these you can get back. It may take a little bit more time as we get down this list, but these are starting from the top. These are some of the things that you have immediate access to. Physical cash, financial institutions, a hot wallet, which we'll talk about a little bit about, a cold wallet, savings, and investments. So these are ways that you can control your assets. If it's in a financial institution, maybe it takes some processing time. If it's in a hot wallet, you can connect to it and you have to get on your desktop or laptop, or if you have a way to connect to it through a mobile wallet and through a mobile application. Same for a cold wallet, which is pictured there, a ledger. And these are ways you can store your funds and have control over your funds, and that be a way for you to trust that you have access to it, and it is liquid. You can participate in different types of consumer activity, even if it is those basic everyday expenses, or something more in line with your investments. So again, approach these things carefully. I sourced that picture, just it's a quick picture offline, but this is just a way to kind of show you that there is an element of control, like a spectrum of control when you talk about what kind of financial assets we have access to. All right. And here I just thought we could start to reflect. The next slide, I believe, is a bit more reflection as well. Um, and it's just a silly picture there. I thought, this is a way to kind of show you the little distractions that throw us off of being productive and perhaps throw us off of good decision making, because that's a path we are always making sure that we're on. And so a little bit of self-control goes a long way when you're trying to make financially literate decisions, and understand what your risk tolerance is down the road. So I just put a few questions here just to kind of get us thinking about, are these little small things that we spend a lot of time doing, and are there opportunities to learn in windows of time that we spend doing these types of activities. I'm guilty of all of the above because I made this slide, and so these are kind of the things that subjectively come to mind. But I'm sure a lot of you can relate. You've made either consumer, just basic consumer purchases, or checked out different types of subscriptions online. Just seeing what types of content is out there as far as it being productivity software like the Adobe suite, or something that's going to provide some entertainment value like some of these subscriptions I've put here. Um, the very first one I thought was the most important because I think that's just something that the a kind of consumer-driven behavior tends to kind of not necessarily trick us into, but we always tend to we always find a way to justify what we call an impulse purchase, and those have led to like the emergence of phrases like like a remorse purchase, and so again, just keeping in mind these behaviors that are just kind of common throughout just the behaviors that are common throughout consumer activity, but having a little bit of mindfulness and a little bit of self-control, even if it is something that we're going to need. It is something that we're going to need to buy multiple times annually. But again, thinking about how much time we spend, thinking about these types of purchases that may not be, again, those daily things that we actually need, those things that we help us survive and help our friends and family to survive. One of the big, I'll just share a personal anecdote, just tiny one. Just being able to save a little bit of money will go a long way in terms of helping your like your nutritional type of sustenance, as well as the type of housing and living environments that you can afford. It's just it's a matter of time until you perhaps find yourself in a tricky situation where you don't meet those savings goals that you want to long term. So another financial literacy tip is to keep in mind how much impulse purchases can get in the way of your short term and long term financial goals. We'll kind of go on from here. But again, feel free to stop at any point in the video, pause, maybe think about some, things that you've want to take notes on yourself, and then, we'll move forward. And here, this is a couple of simple ones we can all do. This is just all about sharing resources, just kind of like I'm doing today. Using safe mobile applications like Coinbase, Venmo, Cash App, and Robinhood. If you're not familiar with these, again, I believe the next slide will just be some time to search some terms up. And the next point is learning how to use desktop applications like Uniswap, as well as hot and cold wallets like MetaMask and Ledger. I mentioned Ledger before, and you saw a picture of it there a moment ago. But these are safe options to store financial assets, whether they're cryptocurrency or different types of NFT products that you're interested in. I would highly suggest to check out Uniswap because they now have a safe marketplace for trading cryptocurrency and NFTs, and so you can check out different types of applications like Coinbase, Venmo, Cash App, Robinhood, and then make sure to safely Google maybe some hands-on videos on YouTube. I'll think about doing that in the future if we have some more comments down below that are interested in that. But I think right now, just giving you guys some tips and some fundamentals, and just kind of building your a comfortable foundation to sit upon when it comes to doing some of this research for yourself. But again, those are safe applications and safe pieces of hardware to use in terms of the ledger. And lastly, sharing your experiences and what you learned with friends and family members. As simple as that. Just kind of slowly finding a way to communicate different types of information. Not everybody learns the same way, and I think an advantage family members have is having that time with them and knowing how to slowly introduce different types of information and help them on their journey. And they did the same for you, and same with friends. And if you meet someone new, try to get to know them a little bit, and then let them know that you're interested in making financially responsible decisions, and then you kind of just build up that foundation together. If there happens to be common ground there, anything can happen if you kind of stick kind of like we're saying. Kind of like we were saying before, stick to some of your short-term and long-term goals, and beyond impulse purchases. Don't let impulse decision making get in the way of some of those opportunities to build financial growth opportunities and friendships. It's a wonderful thing when you really stick to your goals. All right, and a little bit of reflection. So for here, for with this slide specifically, if we had an audience today, I'd ask to just make a financial goal, whether it's something extremely simple or a little bit more lofty. I think it'd be a great opportunity to just kind of slow down a little bit, um, you know, think a little bit about something you can do, something that's actionable, and put it in writing. You can put it in your notepad on your phone, or jot it down if you have something to write with. Um, the next is a smart goal setting. I learned this from a close friend now, and I thought it was something very very specific. Excuse me, that's funny because it's the first word. It was something very specific that she taught me, and it brought a lot of what I already believed about just a common work ethic into vision. But this is a way to kind of cal- uh, this is a way to kind of put your actions on a scale, and make sure that you can, again, kind of like I'm saying, stick to your goals. So again, make sure your goal is specific, make sure your goal is measurable, make sure it's actionable, it's relevant, meaning that you're sticking to the goal. You're not kind of branching off and taking a U-turn into just foreign territory, like like today we're talking about financial literacy, and if all of a sudden I started talking about academic curriculum, we'd be going in a different direction then. So again, making sure it's relevant, and again making sure it's time bound, so you can look and see the little increments of progress that you're making. That's something that's just important from a psychological point. Excuse me. It's something that's important from a psychological standpoint as well, because you can see over time that you are making either personal progress or both personal and financial progress. All right, and here another a little bit of time for research and discussion. Um, I put the Uniswap logo, just because I thought, kind of if you get familiar with some of the branding that we'll talk about. You'll hear me, you'll definitely hear me mention Uniswap. You'll hear me mention MetaMask and Ledger, because these are some of the products that I've found that have been so far they've been time tested, and are some of the safest to use. And again, I think these are some of the some of the introductory questions you can get started on. Please feel free to pull up as many tabs as you need to in your browser. Again, don't be afraid to research. Hi, it's okay. Don't be afraid to research. I do that. I do that myself, having a lot of tabs open, and then filing back down. Making sure kind of like I was saying before at the beginning, staying specific and succinct. But again, you can get lost doing research. But make sure you remind yourself of some of these fundamentals that you were going over today. I even find myself going over just some basic principles about economics, just because I want to make sure I'm always kind of staying brushed up on certain things because um, the things are always changing, policies are always changing, and so if you're if you stay up to date in terms of things that are going on, from a bird's eye view, of like world economics, you can get different insights into different marketplaces that you haven't educated yourself on, different things like that. But again, just like we're kind of going down a different rabbit hole here, you can find yourself doing research, but please do it at your own pace, but keep the fundamentals in mind. All right, so we've brought ourselves to the end here. I just want to say a sincere thank you to our watchers and listeners. And again, thank you to the library leadership here. Thank you so much for attending today's financial education presentation. There's always more to learn, and I'm excited to continue growing our financial literacy together. I sincerely appreciate the library leadership's continued support with making financial education accessible to everyone. If you're interested in leaving feedback or would like to learn a specific subject, feel free to sign the guest sheet here. To our viewers that'll be online, again, feel free to check that out. It would help me to get some feedback and be able to interact with you guys a little bit more about what you guys would like to learn. But I'm extremely appreciative of the library's leadership again, and thank you to all the people that have supported me our various online communities. And I just I want to continue continue this type of series, and I hope that everyone has a great rest of the day. I'll see you soon.